All right, welcome to another Civic Eagle Enview Lunch and Learn. Today, we're going to be going over how to use teams to track bills for yourself and other folks on your team. All right, so we're going to go over 5 things today. First is creating a team. Second is inviting team members. Third is creating tags within that team. Fourth, searching and tracking bills for your team. And then fifth, how to take notes for your team. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We got a packed full lunch and learn today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first things first, I'm on the home screen right now of Enview, and I want to create a team. All right, like the team is going to be called the Coalition on Police Reform, and I want to invite a few people to that team to track legislation, to take notes, to analyze bills together. So let's create that team. Again, we're calling it the Coalition on Police Reform. Towards the top of your screen, when you're on the home screen, you'll see the modal change here, and there's a little drop-down arrow, right? The workspace change. So you can click on that drop-down arrow, and you'll see your name, and you'll see the teams that you're in or that you're on, and you'll have the ability to create a new team right from here. So you're going to click on New Team, and you're going to give your team a name. So we're going to call this team Coalition on Police Reform. And just give it a quick summary of what it's about. So this is a bunch of us in the Midwest tracking legislation on police reform. All right. Let's go ahead and click on Create Team. And that will launch me directly into the team workspace. So now that team is created. Again, really quick, easy process. Click on that drop down, click on New Team, give that team a name, give it a quick summary of what the team is about, and boom, you've got that team created. All right, now a team is not a team without teammates, without team members. So the next thing you want to do is jump right into the Team Members tab and start inviting new team members. All right, so right now it's showing that I'm the only person on this team, but I want to invite a few other folks to this team as well. So over here in the bottom right-hand corner, I've got Invite Team Member. I'm going to click there. I'm going to invite just one team member, one of my teammates, Yemi. So I'm going to invite Yemi. I'm going to put in her email address. And I'm going to give her a user type of either admin or standard. All right, admin means she's going to have the ability to remove organizational team members, to be able to remove bills. And then a standard team member can create teams and invite collaborators, but can't remove people or remove bills. So I'm going to give her the user type of admin and invite her to this team. And she's taking, she's got a little nickname here of Tina Fey, but she's going to get an email into her, in her email inbox, just basically letting her know that she's been invited to this Coalition on Police Reform team by me as a contributor to this team. She'll accept that invitation, and then she'll be able to see this team on her Enview screen. All right, so again, the first 2 things we've done, we've created a team and we've invited a teammate to that team. Remember, a team is nothing without having teammates, right? Otherwise, it's just an individual. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to create some tags. Right? Remember, tags are like labels. They're like sticky notes. You want to tag a bill just to let yourself know, like, this is the label or the tag that I'm placing on this bill. It does not mean that you're tracking the bill, it just means that you're tagging or labeling the bill. So let's go ahead and create a few tags for this team. All right, so to do that, over here on the far left, you'll see that there's the Coalition on Police Reform over here, and I can add some tags. So I'm going to click on Add Tag, and I'm going to name this first tag Support. All right, you just click on Save here, and now I've created a new tag called Support. I'm going to create 2 more tags, the next one being Oppose, and I can do that either from here on the left, or I have the ability to create a tag right from the team workspace. I'm going to click on Create a Tag, and I'm going to give it the name Oppose. I'm going to save that. I'm going to create 1 more tag, Neutral. Notice that each time I create a tag, it's giving me some feedback and letting me know, well, and asking the question, well, who should be able to access this tag? Because I'm in the Coalition on Police Reform team workspace, it's going to default to, well, share this with all of my teammates on this team, on the Coalition on Police Reform team. So I'm going to go and click on save, and I've got those 3 tags created right here in the team workspace. Now, as I'm looking at bills, as I'm searching and doing some research and some analysis on different bills, I can quickly tag the bills, either with oppose, neutral, or support, so that it's all within my team workspace. All right. So now let's go ahead and actually try to find and identify some bills that we may want to track for my team or to tag for my team using one of the 3 tags that I've created here. So first we got to go back to our search area. So I just click on the Enview logo in the top left-hand corner. That'll take me back to the search screen. And I'm going to search for bills around public safety. Notice that I'm only searching in Minnesota, but if I wanted to select other state jurisdictions, I've got that drop down right there for me to select other state jurisdictions that I have access to. I only want to look in Minnesota for now, so I'm going to leave it in Minnesota, searching for public safety, the phrase public safety. I can hit enter on my keyboard or go, click on go. I'm going to click on go. And I've got a little over 1,100 results for public safety bills in Minnesota. Some have passed, some are still moving through the legislative process, so on and so forth. But I'm going to do a little digging here and see if there are any bills that stick out to me that I may want to either track or tag. Here's a bill here that I can read a quick summary about. All right, it's a public safety bill around correctional facilities. It's interesting. Maybe I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I already know, maybe I've heard something about this bill, and I want to tag it as neutral. So I'm just going to click on the little tag icon here in the bill card, and I'm going to select neutral, close that out, and now I've tagged this bill as neutral. I'm going to keep scanning here. All right, here's House File 4571. I've already heard about this bill. Not a big fan of it. I'm going to go ahead and tag it as opposed. And here's Senate File 4624. This one I've heard about as well. I'm just going to quickly tag it as support. I may want to track this bill as well, so I'm going to go ahead and click on track. And I want my entire team. I want Yemi as well. Remember, she's on my Coalition on Police Reform team. So I want to track it for everybody on my team, meaning that anytime something happens to this bill, any action that's taken through the legislative process, not only am I going to receive a notification about that update, Yemi, because she's on the team with me, will also receive a notification about that bill. So I want to track this. This is a pretty important bill. I don't want to just tag it. I want to track it. I want to follow it through the legislative process. So I clicked on track. It defaults to share with Coalition on Police Reform. So why did it default to this? How did it already know? How did the system already know that I wanted to track this bill for my team? Well, remember, I'm in the Coalition on Police Reform mode right now. I can select the different modes that I want to be on and track bills accordingly. So let's say, for instance, I was in my mode, my own personal mode, just looking as an individual. I can click there and notice what happens now if I try to track that same bill. It will default to myself, to tracking it for myself. But remember, I want to track this for the Coalition on Police Reform team. So I'm going to go ahead and select in the mode, Coalition on Police Reform. I'm going to go and track that bill, again, defaulting it to me, and then I'm going to click on track. Now, again, whenever any action is taken on that bill, myself and Yemi will receive an email notification that something is happening with that bill, that that bill is moving through the legislative process, or something has happened to that bill during the legislative process. All right, so quick review. I've tagged 3 bills. I tagged 1 support, I tagged 1 oppose, and I tagged 1 neutral. And I decided to track 1 bill, which is the Senate File 4624 bill, meaning that anytime something happens to this bill, I'm going to receive an email notification, and Yemi, who's on my team, is also going to receive an email notification. Now, as a reminder, all of your teams are over here on the left, and the bills that you're tagging, the bills that you're tracking are also over here, and the tags you've created are over here as well. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the bill that we're tracking right now, Senate File 4624. Remember, to do that, all I need to do is click on the bill number, either here in the bill card, or over here on the left in my bill tracker. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Senate File 4624. It opens up the bill. I can get the bill details. I can get some intelligence about the bill, see the activity, everything over here on the right. There are other lunch and learns and small videos that will explain kind of how details, intelligence, and activity works. For our purposes today, we're not going to go over those. We're just going to talk about how to interact with your teammates on this bill. All right. So from here, you may want to be able to take actions in a collaborative way with your teammate. So for my purposes with Yemi, I'm going to show you how to do two things right here in partnership with my teammate, collaborating with my teammate. The first is taking a note, or taking a note directly on the bill text itself. So as I'm reading through this bill, I may find some information in here that maybe Yemi, my teammate, is better suited to provide me with feedback on. I'm going to go ahead and highlight lines 2.8 and 2.9 here. Yemi happens to know a lot about this subdivision, a lot about this information here on line 2.8. And I just want to take a quick note. Confused about this. What's your take? And remember, I'm sharing this with the Coalition on Police Reform. Again, how did it know that I wanted to share this information with my team? The mode, right? I'm in that Coalition on Police Reform mode up here in the header. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Save and Close. As we all know, it's going to highlight those lines there, letting me know that my note has been saved. Yemi is going to receive an email notification letting her know that, hey, Damola wrote a note on this bill. You're on the same team. She's going to be able to jump right in, see what that note is about. And over here on the right, when she logs in, she can reply directly to the note that I've taken. Let's say I didn't want to write a note directly on the bill, but I wanted to write a more general note. That's another thing you can do, number two, from a collaborative perspective. Over here on the right, within the activity tab, you've got a note-taking space. So I can take a note here. Here's my general analysis about this bill. Right now, we support it, but a few parts need language change. Can we discuss with Representative Johnson? We're going to go ahead and post this, and I'm going to post it again with my team, or for my team. Yemi, whoever else is on my team, is going to see that. It's a general note. It's not directly on the bill text, so it's going to stay right here without any of this kind of section within that note that you've taken, letting me know that that the note was taken on the bill. It's just a general note about the entire bill itself. Yemi can come in, or any other teammate within this team can come in, reply, send a message. They can favorite it, save it, whatever the case may be. So again, two ways to collaborate from a note-taking perspective with other folks on your team. One way is to take a note directly on the bill text, and the other way is to take a general note within the activity tab. You've got a note-taking field right at the top there. Again, the mode that I'm in, my view, everything that I'm doing is going to default to Coalition on Police Reform because I'm in that mode right here. And you can change from team to team or from organization to yourself, whatever the case may be, by just simply clicking on this drop-down caret right here and looking at the options that you have available to you. Now, what would happen if I switched to my mode right here, right? If I switch from Coalition on Police Reform to myself, watch what happens to my screen. Watch what happens to the highlighted text here. I'm going to switch over to my name, and that text is no longer highlighted. 2.8 and 2.9. Those lines are no longer highlighted because remember, I took that note for my team. I did not take that note for myself. If I switch that mode back to Coalition on Police Reform, that note, that highlight, all the work that I'm doing in the activity tab for my team comes back. So remember, you can switch modes depending on the work that you're doing, whether it's for a team, for yourself, for your organization, whatever the case may be. All right. Now, remember that we had tagged a few bills, right? We tagged one neutral, we tagged one opposed, we tagged one support. Remember that you can always click on the hashtag over here on the far left to see the list of all of those bills that you've tagged. So I tagged one bill neutral. Here it is. Remember, I'm not tracking the bill. I just tagged it. right? So it was just a way for me to kind of label that bill and be able to go back to it really quickly and easily. Same thing with the pose, and same thing with support. All right. That is it for today's Lunch and Learn, talking about how to utilize teams in a really effective way, how to work with one another, work with your teammates in a really organized and easy and honestly fun way. Remember that Teams is a super, super powerful way for you to be able to increase your capacity as a policy professional, as a lobbyist, as an advocate. You can use Teams to create coalitions. You can use Teams to better engage your clients. If you're a law firm, you can use Teams to better engage your members. If you're a member-based organization like a chamber or a trade association, Teams is one of the most powerful features and tools within Enview by Civic Eagle. So thank you again for joining and tuning in for this week's Lunch and Learn. If you have any questions, we're always here to provide you with answers, with information. Don't forget, bottom right-hand corner, we're available to you with chat support and with just honest conversation if you need to. And tune in next week for another Lunch and Learn with yours truly. Take care.